Hello, everyone. This is a Board Game Lawyer, and today I'm going to play some Marvel Champions. In fact, I'm going to play a rematch of Spider-Man versus Rhino. In the last game that I played, Rhino actually defeated Spider-Man. I'm playing Rhino in Expert mode, and he had the Sinister Six, or the Sinister Assault modular set, in his encounter deck, and that's how he was able to beat us. Actually, we beat ourselves with a card that we played, so we went back and retooled our deck a little bit. I'm playing Spider-Man in Protection today. The Sinister Six, they got bored, so they left. So there's going to be a brand new modular set included into our encounter deck today. And let's look at some of the cards. So I have them right here. These are special cards that I received from Marvel Champions Monthly Podcast. They kindly sent those out to me. So I have in my hands here the one and only Kennedy Hawk, who is a minion, an elite minion. We also have Crimson. We also have Lester Cook and Crow. We've got Americano, Addercop, and the Critical Encounters Mind Ray, as well as the Side Schemes Side Scheme. So all 8 of these cards we're going to shuffle into our Rhino encounter deck today. So bear with me while I insert those and shuffle up my encounter deck. So Rhino comes into play with 15 hit points on him. You'll notice that up there on his dial. He also has a scheme of 1, an attack of 3, and it says, when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for the break-in and take-in side scheme, and reveal it and shuffle the encounter deck. So we'll go ahead and shuffle up our encounter deck. Here's the break-in and take-in side scheme. So it comes into play. It says, when revealed, place an additional 1 threat per player here. And it starts with an inherent 2, so there's 3 threat that's going to get placed on the break-in and take-in side scheme. And there's really no text to be had on the break-in, so we'll just advance to side 1B, and it threats out at 7. It doesn't begin with any threat on it. And so Spider-Man, we'll take a look at him. He has a thwart of 1, attack of 2, a defense of 3. He has a spider sense. When the villain initiates attack against you, draw a card. We'll need to remember to do that. That's something that I easily forget to do, is to get our bonus card, but that's what you really want to do with Spider-Man. And then in his Peter Parker form, he is a scientist. He generates a mental resource, and he can do that once per round. He starts with 10 hit points and a hand size of 6. So I'm just about finished up my encounter deck shuffle here, and we'll go ahead and shuffle up my player deck too as well. And we'll draw up our hand size of 6. So we draw Clea. We also draw a backflip. We draw a web shooter. Those are good to have early in the game. Our web shooters. You also draw Dauntless and Hard to Ignore. I like that one. And also Expert Defense. So we will call out some of our cards here that we won't necessarily need in this first pass, this first round. So we're going to get rid of our backflip card. We'll hang on to our web shooter. We'll hang on to Clea, Dauntless, Hard to Ignore, and we'll discard Expert Defense. And let's see what we get with 2 other card draws. So we have the Spider Tracer, and we have Jocasta. Let's see. Jocasta wouldn't be bad to put out this early, so we'll keep her in mind. So first off, we're going to do is we're going to use one of his mental resources to play his web shooter. Web shooter comes into play with 3 web counters on it. Put those on my web shooter. 1, 2, 3. And we can exhaust the web shooter when we're in hero form to generate a wild resource. So paid for that using Peter Parker's. Let's see, we got Jocasta. If we play her, it's going to cost us some good cards. We're going to spend the Spider Tracer. We'll also spend Dauntless. And, boy, I hate to get rid of Hard to Ignore. That is a good card to have this early in the game. But I like Jocasta because she can actually help Peter Parker to remove the threat off the break-in and take-in. We don't want to draw too many extra encounter cards, so I think that we will go ahead and discard Clea. We'll hang on to Hard to Ignore. We'll let that go to our next round, so we'll put Jocasta out. I like Jocasta because she says that she has a response. After she enters play, she can choose a defense event in our discard pile and attach it to her face down. So I like Expert Defense. This was in our discard pile. We mulliganed that off here early on. So we'll put that underneath her, and she says you may play the event attached to Jocasta as if it were in your hand. So here's our 3 resources that we use to spend for Jocasta. We'll put those in our discard pile. We'll hang on to Hard to Ignore, and we'll flip over to our Spider-Man side. Now we can spend a resource using our web shooter to put out Hard to Ignore. It says hero response. After your hero defends against an attack and takes no damage, exhaust Hard to Ignore and remove 1 threat from the main scheme. Being that this has such a low threat threshold, it's good to get rid of that. It's good to get this card out early, especially if I don't take any damage, and it's nice having that Jocasta card. So this is a nice setup to begin this game. We will go ahead and exhaust Jocasta to remove 2 threat from the break it and take inside scheme. So we'll put 1 back here, and then Spider-Man's going to exhaust to remove 1 threat from the break-in and taken. So at least we clear this, and this can be removed from the table. Gets rid of that hazard icon. I like that. Now Jocasta takes 2 consequential damage because of that 2 threat removal that she was able to do. So we'll ready Jocasta. We'll ready Spider-Man, the web shooter. We have Hard to Ignore, and we'll draw up our hand size now of 5. So we have electrostatic armor. We have the Black Cat. We draw a strength card, as well as Multiple Man and the Armored Vest. All right. So Rhino is going to place 1 threat on the break-in. He's going to attack Spider-Man. Spider-Man's going to interrupt. When the villain initiates attack against you, you can draw a card, so we draw up another web shooter. That's great. And then he's going to definitely defend. So we're going to defend with Spider-Man. And we're going to, let's see, do I have to play this now? Hero interrupt. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +3 for that attack. So yeah, we'll put +3 on the Spider-Man. We'll draw our encounter card. Our encounter card is 2, so Rhino is 3. +2 is 5, was what he uses to attack Spider-Man. So Spider-Man has 6 defense, so he doesn't take any damage at all whatsoever. And we're going to exhaust Hard to Ignore. After your hero defends against an attack and takes no damage, exhaust Hard to Ignore, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. So that comes off. Love it. And then we draw our encounter card. So our encounter card is a Gang Up. This card gains Surge. The villain and each minion engage with you attacks you. Let me see if I have anything that I can respond to that with in my hand. I don't have anything to respond to that with. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to block with Jocasta, the Gang Up. So he's going to attack for 3 plus another. Wow. After this activation ends, shuffle this card into the encounter deck. There's Americano. Here his presence is felt. So 5 damage onto Jocasta. She's defeated. And Americano is going back into my encounter deck. Those MCM cards are pretty clever. I like them a lot. I haven't got much of a chance to play with them yet, so I will be reading probably a lot of text whenever they pop out. But how nice. This is cool. It's cool when community members, particularly leaders in the community, have such an investment in everybody. So just good job, guys. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and remove Jocasta, and that's going to end Rhino's turn. We'll discard that Gang Up, and we'll begin Spider-Man's turn. So I do like that Multiple Man. Let's see how much I can actually get out this turn. So if I spend 1, 2, how about we spend Black Cat to put this web shooter out? Sounds like a good idea. Put out the web shooter. It'll come into play like his buddy here with 3 counters on it. And then we can spend 1, 2, 3, 4 to put out the Multiple Man. I like that too. So yeah, so then I'll be able to keep one of these. I'm not sure which one yet, because most likely we're going to flip back over into our alter ego. So I tell you what, let's put Multiple Man on the table. We'll spend 2 of the, let's see. Do I need to? So if I spend 1 of these, okay, and I spend 2 of these, and I spend 1 of these, and the 2 resources, that way I can put out multiple man. Sounds like a good idea. You know, actually, because he attacked me again, I was able to draw another card. And I didn't do that, so let's see what we would have gotten. Defiance. When a boost card is turned, and we will be turned up, discard it instead. So that card we should have drawn when he attacked me that second time in the turn. Even though we defended against it, he still attacked us. So we'll use that Defiance card to play out the Armored Vest. Yep, that's what we're going to do. Multiple Man, it says after Multiple Man enters play, search your deck and hand for a copy of Multiple Man and put it into play. Shuffle your deck as if it was searched this way. So we'll go find some more Multiple Men. There's another one. And there's one more. Like the Multiple Man. I was pretty excited whenever I saw that it was going to be a card in the game. So we got all of our Multiple Men out, and we'll flip over to our Spider-Man alter ego, which is Peter Parker, and we'll put electrostatic armor out onto the table using his mental resource. And I'll clean this up here in just a minute, but anyway, so we got probably quite a bit on the table now, so let's go ahead and ready everything. So we got our Peter Parker. We got both of our web shooters. We'll put those together down here. We've got our electrostatic armor. I didn't read that, I don't think. It says, play under any player's control, max 1 per player. Response, after you defend against an attack, deal 1 damage to the attacking character. So that's our electrostatic armor. We have hard to ignore. And we also have his armored vest. Spider-Man's got his armored vest on. Okay. And we didn't do any attacking with Multiple Man. We'll just hold for now, see what happens. We may need to remove some threat later, or we may need to do some attacks and some blocking. So rather than take 1 consequential damage on each of those guys, we'll just hang on for a moment. And we'll draw up our hand size of 6. So we've got the Spider Tracer. We draw a Swinging Web Kick. We have the Energy Barrier. We have Enhanced Spider Sense, our Spider-Man card, and Webbed Up. So those are our 6 cards that will make up our hand. So now Rhino's going to begin by placing 1 threat on the break-in. Rhino's going to scheme. So he schemes for 1 plus 1 is 2. Which gives us a total of 3 threat on our main scheme. Okay. And then we draw our encounter card. So our encounter card reads Charge. Attached to Rhino, when Rhino attacks, the attack gains overkill. Excess damage to an ally from this attack is dealt to its ally's controller. At the end of this attack, discard this charge. So he has a charge on him now, so it's going to give him +3 attack. So Rhino is now up to 6. 6 base attack. So, what shall we do on our turn? I like that Swinging Web Kick. It does a lot of damage. Yep. Liking that one. I also like Webbed Up. So we can use 1 mental resource and another resource to put out the Energy Barrier, and I think I'll do that. So Energy Barrier comes out. We're going to use a mental resource on the Spider Tracer to put it down onto the table. So the Energy Barrier says that when you would take any amount of damage, remove 1 reflection counter from here, prevent 1 of that damage, and deal 1 damage to the enemy. Okay. So it comes out with some counters on it. Very good. And then we can flip over to our Peter Parker side, or Spider-Man side, which I think I'll do. And we need to start doing some damage to Mr. Rhino over there. So we do have that swinging web kick. It would also be nice to web him up. That'll prevent him from attacking and using that charge card. So how about we do... I need to get that swinging web kick taken care of. So yeah, let's do that. We'll do our swinging web kick. We won't spend any of our web shooters right now. We'll just spend these 3 cards that we have in our hand to do 8 damage to Rhino. We got to damage him. We got to get rid of him. And that's going to take him from 15 all the way down to 7 at 8 damage. And then if Spider-Man attacks him for 2, that'll bring him down to 5. And multiple men, they could either remove threat off the break-in, or they could attempt to do some damage to the Rhino. And I think what we'll do is we will do 3 damage to Rhino. Yep. We'll exhaust all 3 of those guys to do 3 more damage. That'll knock him down to 2. And that will end my turn. Put out that consequential damage on those guys. So now we got to exhaust, or ready everything. It's exhausted right now. Ready everything. Spider-Man is good. He's got an energy barrier. So right now he has play under any player's control. After you defend against an attack, deal 1 damage to attacking characters. So that's like a paper cut to Rhino. After your hero defends against an attack, he takes no damage. Exhaust hard to ignore to remove 1 threat from the main scheme. He does have an energy barrier. He has +1 in the armored vest. So he's looking pretty good. Let's see if we get any defense cards when we draw up our 5 in our hand. So we got Aunt May. We also have an enhanced spider sense. We have a preemptive strike. Ooh, I like that. We also have a swinging web kick, and we have webbed up. All right. So Rhino's going to place 1 threat on the main scheme. Then he's going to attack Spider-Man. And we'll draw 1 card because he's attacking me. So we have Counterpunch. After your hero defends against an enemy attack, deal damage to an enemy equal to your hero's attack. Preemptive Strike says, when a boost card is turned face up while a villain attacks, cancel all boost icons on that card, then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon canceled this way. So, here's the boost that Rhino is going to receive. Spider-Man is going to block this attack. Okay. So then he's going to attack for 3 + 3 + 2. We're going to cancel that 2 by using Preemptive Strike. It says when a boost card is turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel all boost icons on the card, then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon canceled this way. So, we're going to spend our webbed up card to play Preemptive Strike and deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon canceled this way. So it's turned face up right now. So this 2 damage is going to defeat Rhino. I don't know that I've ever run into this scenario before. So the master plan is basically going to be thrown back into Rhino's face. So he gets hit for 2, and that defeats this version of Rhino. So the question is, since this version of Rhino got defeated, is the attack over with? Or does it continue with this version? Great question, right? And it says when Rhino attacks, the attack gains overkill. Excess damage to an ally from this attack is dealt to that ally's controller. At the end of this attack, discard charge. So do I do 3 + 3 even though he's defeated? Let me see. Let me look at that preemptive strike. Hero interrupt. When a boost card is turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel all the boost icons on that card, then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon canceled this way. So being that it's canceled, then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon canceled this way. So this card would have added 2 to Rhino's attack, but it's canceled. So that 2 is going to go back into his face. But he did have 6 damage. So since I'm not sure of the rule, was it the Grim rule? Is that this attack will continue. So Spider-Man had 3 plus 1. Plus 1 was 4. And we can exhaust energy barrier. Wow. This is really getting complicated because energy barrier would go over to Rhino as well. So this is a tough spot that I'm in. So 1 damage would come through to Spider-Man, so that would knock him down to 9. I guess the energy barrier is just lost because we reduced it with that 1. The charge card is gone. Rhino is gone. Stage 3 pops up with 16 hit points. He has toughness, and when revealed, stun each hero. So we'll go ahead and add our 16 hit points. You know, that last interaction, if anybody saw anything that I did wrong, if I resolved that incorrectly, please let me know. I'd love to know if I did that one wrong. But all I did was cancel. We did the 2. We defended against attack, but we did take damage, so we won't use... Or no, this says after you defend against an attack, deal 1 damage to the attacking character. So yeah, he would have gotten damaged quite a bit. I'm assuming that all took place in 1 action. So Rhino's defeated. He's tough now. He's stunned. And after all of that, now we have... After your hero defends against an enemy attack, deal damage to that enemy equal to your hero's attack. Well, I'm going to do it. Because it says after your hero defends against an enemy attack, deal damage to that enemy equal to your hero's attack. So we're just going to, use the counter punch to remove the tough card from Spider-Man. Right or wrong, that's what I'm doing, because that's after the attack. After the attack, this one popped up. So, hey, again, this is another interaction that if anyone knows the answer, please share it with me. So, now we are drawing our encounter card. So our encounter card is Critical Encounters Mind Ray. When revealed, discard the highest cost ally in play. If an ally was discarded this way, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an MCM minion is discarded and reveal it. If no ally was discarded this way, this card gains Surge. So the highest cost ally that we have right now is one of our multiple man cards. Whew. So he's discarded. And so what's this Mind Ray going to do to me? It says to... discard, if an ally was discarded this way, discard cards on the top of the encounter deck until an MCM minion is discarded and reveal it. So let's start revealing, looking for an MCM minion. We're going to discard cards until we find one. There's the other Critical Encounters Mind Ray. Charge, Caught Off Guard, Stampede, Exhaustion, Enhanced Ivory Horn. I know they're in here. There's that advanced card that whacked us last time. The Assault, Hard to Keep Down, the Side Scheme's Side Scheme. Ugh, we're burning through our entire deck to find one of these guys. Adder Cop. Okay, Adder Cop, what's your deal? So that's taken place. It says, while Adder Cop is engaged with you, increase the resource cost of each basic gray card you play by 1. When revealed, reveal a physical comic book. If no comic book was revealed this way, discard each aspect card from your hand. All right. Go reveal a comic book. Figures outer cop. Okay. So I bought some comics last week. Still in the bag. I read one of them. It's kind of dumb. Let's see, where'd I get these from? Fantasy books. Okay. So there's a little plug for them. And so I read the Hulk comic book. I bought it because the cover looked really awesome. But I don't get it. I just don't get new comics. And then the other one, the reason I bought this one was because it had Iron Man on the cover that looks like Spider-Man. So I'm a sucker for covers. So that's the reason why I bought these. So those are, I'm revealing two. So maybe I should be able to draw a card because I revealed two comic books. It's a good thing I had those on hand. Didn't read this card before I started playing. All right, good job, Addercop. So he has a scheme of 2, an attack of 2, hit points of 5. Boy, it says reveal a physical comic book. If no comic book was revealed this way, discard each aspect card from your hand. Whew. And I didn't have any aspect cards in my hand. So it really didn't matter, but it was fun revealing the comic book. That was cool. All right, so we'll just, anyway. So here we are. That turn is over. I discarded half of the encounter deck to get to Addercop, and now it's Spider-Man's turn. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to, he doesn't guard anything, does he? Nah, he's not a guard. He just picks on gray cards. Okay, so Multiple Man is going to attack Rhino, and that's going to, consequential damage will take out Multiple Man. So, all right, so that takes care of the stun card. And then we're going to do a swinging web kick. Swinging web kick. Yes, sir. Swinging web kick for 8 damage. So we'll burn one of our web shooters and our enhanced spider sense. Yeah, we'll burn the enhanced spider sense. And Aunt May. Yeah, why not? Aunt May. And we'll do a swinging web kick for 8 damage onto Rhino. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. Takes care of Rhino. And we will ready. Let's see, I need to take that off. Yeah, I need to take that one off. And we're ready, everybody. Addercop still hanging out. It says, while Addercop is engaged with you, increase the resource costs of each basic gray card you play by 1. Okay, so that would have just affected a basic resource. Sorry, I'm still learning those cards. I haven't played with them as much as I should have by now. But anyway, so we got energy. We're going to draw a backflip. Nice. I like that. Swinging web kick. And anticipation. And we got venom. So those are our 5 cards that we draw. And so then Rhino is going to place 1 threat on the main scheme. So we're up to 5. Rhino is going to attack Spider-Man, so we draw a card. We have expert defense. Ooh. But we have that backflip, and it's a defense as well. So we'll go ahead and draw our encounter card. Our encounter card is the Shocker, so it's 4 plus 2 is 6. We are going to backflip that. When you would take any amount of damage from an attack, prevent all of that damage. It is a defense card. So we're going to prevent all that damage. It says response. After you defend against an attack, deal 1 damage to the attacking character. So we're going to deal 1 damage to him. And then this one says, after your hero defends against an attack and takes no damage, exhaust hard to ignore and remove 1 threat from the main scheme. So we'll take 1 threat off of here. And we have the armored vest. So good. So now Addercop is going to attack Spider-Man. And how about we... Let's see, we don't draw a card. He's not a villain. So if I were to defend, then we can do some... we could do some ping damage to Spider-Man. Or from here on the Addercop. So I think I'm just going to take the damage. I'll just take 2 damage from Addercop. Okay, and then we draw our encounter card, which is hard to keep down. When revealed, Rhino heals 4 damage. If no damage was healed this way, this card gains Surge. So he's going to go back up to 11. 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I think this might end the game because it is now my turn. Multiple Man is going to attack Rhino for 1, and that will clear Multiple Man. Spider-Man is going to attack for 2 onto Rhino. 1, 2, gets him down to 8. And then we have our swinging web kick, deal 8 damage to an enemy. We've got plenty of resources to pay for that, so we'll go ahead and do the 8 damage to the Rhino. And that's going to knock Rhino all the way down to 0. So Rhino is finally, in his expert form, defeated. He's done. Last man standing on the villain side of the board is Addercop. And I like Addercop, so we're not going to pick on him. But anyway, so that was a lot of fun. Thanks for watching my rematch against Mr. Rhino. And thank you to the Marvel Champions Monthly podcast crew for providing some materials to play this game with. And I encourage anyone who would like to listen to interesting content to be able to look up some of these podcasters like Marvel Champions Monthly. We saw Critical Encounters card, the Side Scheme. All those guys were kind of the pioneers of podcasting. And so look up some of their content. It is great. It will help really get you excited to play the game. It's what did it for me. And so thanks for watching my video and my playthrough today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll look forward to bringing you another video again very soon. Take care, friends.